We already know around the corner this is almost tax season. And in that meantime, tax season, we know some of our taxes probably went up. That's if it's personal or business. But I am coming in when the person that's in the White House now, since 2025, is going to change. That's what that means. It's going to change. When we were trying to vote for the lady, and most of us voted for the man, I don't want to say names, but it's kind of like a heartbroken situation. If you can, on this channel we don't really talk about politics, but right here for this portion, it's going to hurt us in the long run. Only reason to say that is because how we have to actually work ourselves just to make sure we still living in that milestones. 2025 tax year brackets, or I should say adjustment, is you gonna see your money or you're not gonna see your money. Okay. 2025 tax brackets from the IRS are the following: 10% of income between $0 to $11,925. 12% of income between $11,926 to $48,475. 22% of income between the $48,476 to the $1,003 with the $350. What I am saying is, if your tax bracket of your income rate level or amount that you gross at the end of the year is in this bracket, there is going to be a 10% or a 12% or a 22% or a 24% or a 32% taken away or given. I don't want to say taken away. Okay. In the midst of all of this, since we already into tax year, we already know there's going to be a lot of changes. We already know certain stuff is going up. Even like a half of a gallon of milk is already about $4 already. So the population is there. So you can do two things: work an extra job, work over more than what you're supposed to that you really don't want to, or you and your partner continue make ends meet. We already know some companies in the midst, when we say we need a raise, they giving us change, not paper, or they give you the 50 cent or the dollar, instead of giving you $4.50 or $2.50. But what I'm saying is, there's going to be a big problem when we file our taxes going into 2025. Leaving 2024, going into 2025, there is going to be a break, disappointed. Like, you really didn't make the money as much. And plus, two, they are getting stricter and stricter. The IRS is getting stricter and stricter. So if you had kids, if you have 4 kids already, and you only filed for 3, and that last child somebody else filed, that same person got to file that child in them 12 years. I mean, in that year. Or within them amount time, because they're going to flag you now. What I mean is, if I file for one of your kids, and if I didn't file for the following year or a year before, they're going to flag us both. They're really going to flag you. Only reason that I said is because they went back because that social security number, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it make sense. That social security number of that child or that social security of yours, you didn't file that you didn't file that child that following year or the year prior. Now all of a sudden you filed this, you didn't, now you filing this child now. So there's going to be a flag. So they're going to want the birth certificate. They're going to want the social security number. They're going to want the school records. They're going to want medical records. They're going to want your name. They're going to want your, they want to know how you relate to this child. That's what it is. They are getting real strict on this portion. They are getting real flaggy with this portion. They are taking longer with this portion. Also, back since we are on this portion anyway, go back some. 2023, there was a big difference for tax rates from 10% to 0 to 11,000, from 12% to 11,001 to $44 to 44,725. So the amount has changed, just maybe 200 to 800 of a bracket year. When your income jump up higher, your tax brackets, we do not pay the high rates of your entire income. You pay the high rates only if your partner of your portion part of that the new tax rate. So I can read it again. When your income jump to a high tax bracket, you do not pay the high rate on your entire income. You are paying the high rate only the part that is a new tax break. Okay, now I got it. So if you made over between 0 to 11,000 of an income, yes, a 10% of that income is taken, is you paying more for what you made. So basically, you're not paying Peter to pay Paul. You're paying Peter to pay Paul and John Doe in this mix. So we paying 3 people to get all this together. That was back in 2023. Our tax brackets, what I was just saying, 10% from 0 to 11,000. And the other one I read was from 0 to 11 something. From 11, I'm on the IRS website reading this. This is back for 2023. So they have a difference. So the tax rate percentage wise has changed from 10 to 12 to 22 to 24 to 32 to 35 to 37. At first, this is back in 2023. The other one I had read were from 10 to 12 to 22 to 32, 36, I believe. So also, if you own in business too, I advise you make sure you have your EIN, your LLC, any business account, or if you have any business funds, or if it's coming in or coming out, make sure it is in business formats. Make sure you have the right business paperwork for that one. You want to make sure you have everything that have to do with business within that business. So if you have an Ninja Blender group home, you need to make sure everything is with business. If you are picking up funds off that business, you want to make sure it is in business. Speaking of all this tax stuff, that PP loan, if you did it, you will have to be paying real soon, because they coming out with that. They want that money for off of that one too. That's on there too. Yes, sometimes it's always good to get a free grant if you start up a business, but make sure that business is legit. Filing taxes, filing your personals or your business, you want to make sure every document is together. We are getting closer. We can still file in January, but they would not. We can still file in early, but they would not open up until the middle of January, and checks won't come out until by February-ish. Let me see real quick. I think when I looked before, it was gone. Okay. They're here for the highlight for the filing your taxes. January the 15th, 2025. That's the fourth quarter of estimate for the tax payout for 2024. The last time you can file your taxes will be April the 15th, 2025. The tax individually returns for the C Corp. If you are S Corp or C Corp, that means sole for prior. That means only you doing your own business. You didn't hire other people. That's from April. If you need to extend, the closest they can get to, it will be October the 15th, 2025 as well. You want to make sure you have all your documents in place as well. Oh, yeah. Here we go. For the IRS tax refund schedule, date associated with the IRS, it will be 21 days from the e-file of your tax returns and the 6 to 8 weeks of paper return. So if there is therefore of the e-file of tax returns is the middle of January of 2025, you should receive your tax refund by February the 18th. Or if it's paper, between March the 9th through March the 23rd. So there is a big change. They even push it back some. Some will, by January, some tax places will be open for you can do that early file. The IRS is not going to accept it by the middle, I want to say by the middle of January anyway. Yeah, by the middle of of January. So you won't get your tax refund until about, they won't start mailing out checks until February. If you already owe taxes as well, yeah, if you owe, I'll advise you make a payment plan with that one too. So it's a lot of stuff that's changing for the year 2025. The biggest thing is the tax increase. So the amount that you make is the higher rate of tax bracket that you have to pay for off of. But yeah, there's a big change in 2025 when we have to, what's that word we were gonna say? Suffer. So you gotta work harder. Yep, gotta work harder. And what I rated with you for this 10% to 0 to 11,000, that was back in 2023. And what I read to you before, that was in 2025. Oh, here we go there. So compare them to, and it makes it so bad. They already working on 2026 already as we speak as well too. Like they working on 26 already. A year, great to be a year later. They working on that as well. Can I see it? Okay. 2025 federal income tax rated for English for single individually from 0 to 11,925. That's 10%. Within that threshold from 11,925 25 and 1 cent to 48,475. That's a 12%, and 48,475 and 1 penny of a 1,000 to 300 to 350. That's a 22%. Go on the IRS websites and start looking at certain stuff. 2025 federal income tax rate of threshold is changing. They're different. That was the single I just gave you for married joint filing returns. It's almost the same, but a little bit different. From 0 to 23,850, that is a 10%. From 23,850 to 96,950, that's a 12%. To 96,950 and 1 cent to 206.7 with a 22%, and 206.71 within 3,904 to 622,600, and that's a 24%. That is for marriage jointly and marriage jointly filed and separate. They get into the double digits. For head of household, it will be 0 to 17,000. 17,001 to 64,850. That's a 12. 64,850 and 1 cent to 1,000 to 3,050 to 22. So, and then I also got widows. 23,850. That's a 10%. All of this is back in 2025. Oh, my foot's dry. This is from 2025. These tax breaks that I'm saying to y'all. So 2025 federal income tax rate for widow, it will be the 23,850. That's a 10%. Head of household from 0 to 17,000. That's a 10%. I'm just reading the first numbers now. Again, I'm not going back all through it. 25 federal income tax rate for married individually filing separate. That's 23,850. That's a 10%. 25 for married individually filing jointly. 23,850. That's a 10%. And single 11,925, and that's a 10%. So that was for 2025. 2026, they don't show it just yet. Oh, take that back. Hold on once. Oh, wow. Okay, so I was right. What I just gave y'all, that was in Wisconsin. Them numbers that I gave y'all, let's see. I'm in Tennessee for 2025. For Tennessee resident state income tax table for single filing for 2025, it just says 0 all the way through. If you was married, um, single, married, jointly, widow, separated, head of household, yeah, widow, it just says 0. So I guess that state is just not a federal state. Am I right? Can you leave in the description? I don't think Tennessee is a federal state. Also, I'm looking at now for Tennessee state's payroll reduction for 2025 for employee is 2.7%, and then unemployment is 0. Oh, for state-wise, this says state annually. For Tennessee residents, 10%. Still it'd be 11,925. That's all the way through. Let me see. Florida. Florida, it's the same as well for single heads high for 2025. Marriage files, yep. So they're the same. They're just Tennessee is not a federal state. Montana, I think Montana is federal state. No, Montana's not even. Okay, Montana is a little bit different. If you live in Montana, for single for 2025, is tax rate is a 4.7 from 0, and it'd be 20,500. And then it got from 5.9 percentage to 20,501 above, and then marriage filing for jointly for the 4.7% all the way to the 41,000, and then the 5.9% from 41,001 and above, and then married files separate will be 0 to 20,500, still the 4.7%. The 5.9%, it will be the 20,501% and above. Montana head of household filing taxes for 2025 will be 30,750, still with the 4.7%. And then the 5.9% income will be the 30,750 with the 1% and above. Montana income rate, it'd be different. I could do one more. I could do two more. I'm just curious about Minnesota. I don't know why. Minnesota tax residents income tax for single 2025 for personal income tax rated threshold, you have the 5.35% income from 0 to 31,609, and then the 6.8% with the 31,609 and 1 cent. So this is for the single. Jointly standard be the 29,100 and 150, and married jointly standard reduction, it'd be the 29,150. And then Minnesota married jointly filed taxes, it would be from the 5.35%, it would be the 3,350. So y'all numbers kind of change a little bit. I think it's time for us to move. I think it's time for me to move. Really, it is. Because y'all income taxes break is lower. I think it is. What state? I want to say something where I don't have to pay federal and state. One more. Let's do Illinois. Illinois for single filings for 2025, threshold 0. But with the 4.95 for married, with the 4.5 for the 4.95 flat rate income 0. Illinois married files separate with the 4.95 0. The flat rate of all tables income. Federal tax income federal 2025 and 15. Okay, so it's at the bottom where I was looking at before, but right here is something different. So it's still the 10% tax rate, still with the 11,925. So go on your state website and start looking at tax income bracket and see what you're going to do. Only reason I said that is because you know you will probably have to make more if you need to make more, for you can see your income. Even though they always say the more money you make, the more they take out, or the less money you make, the less they take. But sometimes that can change. This is your girl Italian, and I will talk to y'all later. 2025 is a big difference for us. It's a change. Especially when we need our tax money. We are getting towards that, or we getting happy because we filing our taxes. That's like money that we can't wait. Right. But this is your girl Italian. I will talk to y'all in the next video. Y'all take care, and don't forget to subscribe, give a girl a thumbs up, leave a comment if you like. Talk to y'all later. Good night.